The only thing necessary for evil to succeed is for good men to do nothing. It's important that people wake up to what is going on. It's time that we read the Constitution. It is error that needs the support of government. Truth can stand alone. That was given to us by Thomas Jefferson. Welcome back. My name is Daniel Hapney, and this is The Real Story. My last episode, I guess I introduced you to how fluoride got put in water systems and how we were sold by advertisement people that it was a great benefit for us. Well, now it's been a bunch of years, and people are now starting to call into question the science that was used to determine that, and also what are the long-term effects, because we're starting to see them. Does it strike you as strange that 40, 50 years ago, the cancer rates were like 1 in 30 or 40 people, or maybe 50 people, and now it's 1 in 3? And people would say, well, gee, it's not just, could it be partly our environment? Also, too, it's recently come out, thank you very much, Harvard, that fluoride's been linked to bone cancer and osteoporosis and osteosarcoma. So, boy, is this what we want to put in our water? Do we have any elders out there who remember when they used to make rat poison in the 30s? That was the major ingredient. How about nowadays? They want to take the grain mills, okay, where we store things like rice and other grains, wheat and corn, and use fluorine gas as a fumigant. Okay, folks, so we're putting this in our water that everyone's ingesting, and we're finding out that it has effects. So what I'd like to do tonight, anyway, is just go over some of the things that recent news items, recent pieces, so that you can find out, hey, it's not just me. It's you that needs to do some homework. It's you that needs to decide what you want your children to ingest, your loved ones, your family, okay? And when you find that this toxic agent added to our water, which is actually from a chemical waste, we're not putting, what's it called, pharmaceutical quality, fluoride in it, sodium fluoride or stannous fluoride. No, we're putting in the waste products from what, the fertilizer industry or the aluminum industry. This is pretty sad. When it's in the truck, it's toxic waste, and now we can add it to our water supply, which you pay for, by the way. This costs us money. You and Sharon, you're paying for this to be added to your water. It's time to question. Come on, when things aren't right, ask questions. Then, once again, decide whether or not this really benefits the populace. So what I have for you is I tell you all to go to the Sharon Public Library. And what I'd ask that you get is, see if you can get the January issue of the Scientific American. A rather interesting article. But see, now it's been 50 years, and we're finding out that a lot of the studies that they did on fluoride, that they're not the kind of studies they do today. In other words, a lot of bogus science, not real science. When I say real studies, real test things, long-term tests. But here you go. This is once again the Scientific American, the January issue. I recommend you catch on to it. Why? Because if you read it, you'll find out that we're not just ingesting fluoride because it's in our water, but it's in it's in tons of products now. Okay, when I say tons of products, I mean tons of products. Remember, the FDA has never approved fluoride. Okay, so I mean, gee, it's so good the FDA doesn't do it. But I brought for you today, here's the thing, we're going to go over the 50 reasons for you to reconsider putting fluoride in Sharon water. And I please hope you would, and do your own research. This is not the panacea for tooth problems. This is not heaven fell to earth for the tooth fairy. As a matter of fact, it's even been shown to have negative effects on teeth. The National Institutes of Health recently, and this is what got me going on it, was that they came out and said infants should have 0 fluoride. You got that? 0. Well, the town of Sharon's paying to put it in the water. Did you tell all the parents out there making baby formula for all the newborns that are in Sharon? That's rather interesting, huh? So anyway, we're going to give, first off, number 1, fluoride is not an essential nutrient. Nowhere when you look at the, your daily recommended allowances or your daily recommended amounts and stuff, yeah, you can live without it. Isn't that an interesting thought? If it was such an important mineral like iron, calcium, magnesium, okay, why don't they put it on cereals and stuff? It's not. It's not required by the body, okay? I mean, I don't know of any disease where they say, well, that disease is based on a fluoride deficiency. If the doctors out there in the audience know of them, I'd love to come in here and see them. Okay. Fluoridation is not necessary. Most Western European countries have not fluoridated and have experienced the same decline in dental decay as the U.S. Well, I thought fluoride was this wonder drug for teeth. Yeah, also, by the way, in a U.S. study, for 30 years now, they've found that the tooth decay rates for the non-fluoridated areas are equal to the tooth decay rates of the fluoridated areas. But that's another thing. So anyway, fluoridation's role in the decline of tooth decay is now coming into question, which I thought was easy. That was number 3. Number 4, okay, where fluoridation has been discontinued in communities from Canada to East Germany, Finland, dental decay is not increased. Well, gee, I thought it was this wonder tooth drug thing. And by the way, why don't we just make a whole cocktail and put it in our water supply for all the other parts of our body? Maybe our skin, maybe our eyes, you know, our mucous membranes. I mean, there's so many parts of the body that, you know, we could work on and stuff. Okay. There have been numerous reports of dental crisis in U.S. cities, right? As a matter of fact, Boston's one of them. And, gee, I mean, I want to say, what, Cincinnati and New York? And this is dental crisis land, they tell us. And yet they've been fluoridated for those 50 years. Now, they find most of the dental crisis problems are coming out of places that have, I want to say, whether you want to call it a lower standard of living, I want to say just, you know, the poorer sections of town. That's kind of interesting, you know. It's not water-based. When I say water-based, that's kind of an interesting one, huh? We're supposed to have this because we're putting it in. Once again, the biggest selling thing was for the disadvantaged, those who couldn't, you know, afford the fluoride toothpaste, which just about every brand of toothpaste is. And I'd recommend you find brands that aren't, and they do make them. But that kind of blew that out of the water. Geez, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, okay, has acknowledged the findings that many leading, you know, of the many leading dental researchers that the mechanism of fluoride's benefits are mainly topical, not systemic. Do you know what that means? And this is what the dental community said. They said that the benefits of applying fluoride, or to get the benefits of, you know, utilizing fluoride, it's best to do it topically, not to ingest it. Now, the negative part, and what you got to understand, is that when you do ingest things, you know, 50% of it ends up staying with you and gets deposited in your bones. Yeah, it does find its way there, and it actually causes more bone fractures. And so as the elderly, yeah, the osteoporosis, okay, oh my gosh, you know, the hip bones breaking and stuff. Why this is important is we can choose not to do this. There's all sorts of products, let alone, once again, in our food supplies. If you, we'll go back to those wonderful people at the Scientific American, you'll find that, gee, it's in all our foods. They did a very good job here where they show the, you know, the child, okay, and all the foods that now have fluoride in them because fluoride is in the water, okay, for where they make and process the foods. There's something to consider. Because as your children go to school, and once again, even if they take their bottle of Poland Springs, they're getting it. All right, so we found out, and even the, you know, the American Dental Association or whatever, or Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, I've heard of them, but they've decided that it's best topically. Rather interesting, huh? But yet we're going to continue to ingest it because some people think, based on old science of the 50s, and we'll probably re-air some of that information, that the idea is, you know, drink it and put it in your body. Well, it has a lot of negative effects, and these are now just starting to show up. It's funny that well, we'll stay off the funny stuff anyway. Let's see, despite being prescribed by doctors for over 50 years, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, that's the FDA, which I'm not too hip on anyway, because remember they said Vioxx was the thing you should have, you know? Yeah. Why is it all the people from the pharmaceutical companies bounce in and out of these government jobs like the FDA, and then back to, you know, a pharmaceutical company, and then back to the FDA, and you look at all the things that were been, I want to say, approved, and then found out that they were really bad. Huh. You think money has a lot to do with that? You know, gee, I got a job at the government, then I got a job at the big company, and then back at the government, you know. Kind of weird, huh? Where does the money go? So anyway, yeah, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has never approved any fluoride product designed for ingestion to be safe for children. If that's the case, Sharon residents, why do we put fluoride in our water?